gradually. And that is called the smooth shading style. And along with these, there are other two techniques which are called dry and wet shading respectively. Dry shading is mostly used on thangkas, and wet shadings are mostly used when painting on murals because it goes a lot faster. So, once the shading is done, the figures are then colored in the appropriate colors. Like I said earlier, the basic palette of a thangka painter consists of 5 colors: white, yellow, red, green, and blue. The colors are the 5 Buddha families, the 4 different activities. And unlike in the West, Tibetans consider this color as the root or primary colors. And there are several ways of categorizing colors and mixing them. According to the tradition that I am following, yellow and red are considered male colors, green and blue are considered female colors, and white and occasionally black are considered to be neither male nor female. So we use white and black to make darker and lighter shades, and of course mixing other colors also together. So while applying the colors, the painter has to follow the strict color codes according to the sadhana or the ritual or the practice of the particular deity one is painting. The color of his or her skin, the attributes, the clothes, and in some cases even the backgrounds and halo are predefined. Apart from this, the painters usually follow the advice and instructions of former master painters, and in some texts the combinations of colors are described a little bit poetically. I'll give some examples here. White and red are the flowers of color. If one wants beauty, it lies in these colors. Red and yellow are the heroes of color. If one wants splendor, it lies in these colors. Green and blue are the youths of color. If one wants vanity, it lies in this color. Red and maroon are the dignitaries of color. If one wants luster, it lies in this color. And further on it goes on saying, mixture of white and red is wisdom and method. A mixture of white and yellow is a beggar. A mixture of red and yellow are the 6 wisdom. A mixture of blue and red is power and strength. So this kind of mixing colors are expressed in a poetical way, so that one can, when a painter wants to apply certain forms of colors and wants to achieve some brilliance or pale color, then he can sort of refer to this kind of text. And this is just a very, very few of these. You have, of course, there are many, probably hundreds of different techniques or different ways of mixing and applying these colors. So once the colors are filled, another layer of shading is applied on the colors to give a bit of depth on the flatly colored layer. On orange, vermilion, red or red dye is used. On red, maroon or leg dye. On blue, metallic indigo or earth indigo. On green, saffron and yellow dye is used. On white, flowers, red, orange and blues are used. On white cloth, primarily blue is used. And for male divinities of white color, they are shaded with orange, and female divinities of white color, they are shaded with red, and so on. It goes like that. And so once all of these are finished, the shading of the sky, the earth, and the applying of the colors, and then the shading on top of the colors, then another essential factor of thangka painting comes, that's the pulling lines. And thangka painters, they have a saying, if one is skillful in pulling lines, one can make an ordinary drawing look beautiful. And if one does not possess that skill, one can make a beautiful drawing look ordinary. So it's also one of the very important part when we are studying thangka painting. We are taught from before, when we are drawing, to get ourselves familiarized, to familiarize us with the pulling lines of the brushes, because it's a very, very delicate part of thangka painting. We have to practice that a lot too. The pulling lines, the word for pulling lines in Tibetan is che, which literally means to cut. So in a sense, it is cutting through colors to make a distinction between the different forms and colors. And the colors that are primarily used to make lines are indigo and maroon. On all the shades of red and yellow, maroon is used, and on all the shades of green and blue, indigo is used. And you can use the different grades or shades of this maroon and blue depending on what kind of color or depending on the strength of the color one is painting on. Another thing about painting on lines is it says that on halos, the outline of the moon disk, the sun disk, the ornaments, the lines have to be very, very fine and equal. On the body, on the bada is the outer frame of the halo, a part of a frame. Precious stones like jewels. You can slightly make a difference in the line between thick and thin. On cloths, rock, leaves, flowers, the difference on the thick and thin is then accentuated or exaggerated more. So, after completing this process, various designs and motifs are drawn with gold to give some sort of extra richness to the clothes and the ornaments. And the lines of these gold motifs are also fine and equal in its size. It has to be fine and equal in its size. And now here is a little bit of a part where the artist is a little bit free because he follows certain rules. And these parts, especially applying gold motifs and designs, you can start using different designs of flower designs, or designs of dragons, of phoenixes, and everything. And recently I saw a plastic bag of oil lily, which had a very beautiful pattern of flowers, but it was done quite abstractly, but it was very beautiful. So I used that in one of my paintings. And so, in that sense, the artist is really free in choosing the designs and things like that. Yeah. Finally, when all of these are done, and the eyes of the deities are made in what is known as the opening of the eyes, and this is the final process of Thangka painting, and it is considered the most important part of the whole painting process because it symbolizes the acquiring of the wisdom eyes from the obscurations of ignorance for the benefit of all sentient beings. So the opening of the eyes are usually done on auspicious days. You refer to the astrological calendar and you see which days are auspicious, and then on that day you open the eyes. And usually when you do this opening of the eyes, you refer yourself from eating meat and drinking alcohol and basically staying clean physically. And after the opening of the eyes, the dharani or the mantras of the deities are written on the back of the Thangka. Another way of doing this is to write the mantra on the appropriate places after the sketch is made, and then apply the color on top of it. And one can choose to write the mantras very detailed, or one can also just write the general 3-syllable mantra of Om Ahum, representing the body, speech and mind. The Thangka then is shown in a traditional brocade mounting, which serves as an edifice for the painting. Usually there is a square brocade that is placed on the front of the brocade, which acts like the door into the universe of the painting. The Thangka is then blessed and consecrated by a lama, and only then can the painting serve as a religious object for veneration or for meditational purposes. And that is how the Thangka is usually painted or drawn. And that's the conclusion of the Thangka and also the conclusion of this lecture. Thank you.
Thank you.